Time now for the markets at Layton. And Layton, the traders have had a few days to digest the prospective plantings report.
That's right, it came out on Monday, and according to those numbers, U.S. corn acreage, as you heard earlier, will be the lowest it's been since about 2010. We'll have some analysis of that coming up, along with these stories in the markets this week. Negative price reaction to record soybean projections. A new promotion for peanuts nutritional benefits is unveiled, while the hog sector gets a negative report from the USDA. We begin with market reaction to that much anticipated prospective plantings report released again Monday, March 31st. U.S. soybean, cotton, peanut, and rice acreage, as you've heard, is projected to increase, while corn and wheat estimates show a smaller crop than 2013. Extension Ag economist John Michael Riley shared some thoughts about some of those numbers with me on Thursday morning. John Michael, let's begin by kind of recapping all the numbers that were in the prospective plantings report.
Well, we're looking for a decrease in corn acres, a pretty big increase in soybean acres, a moderate size increase in cotton acres, and then probably the surprise here from a state perspective is the increase in peanut acres.
All right, backing up to corn now, is that kind of what the trade was expecting, that figure, or was that a surprise? Really?
It was a surprise. It missed the mark from a trade perspective by, depending on which source you look at, about 1.25 million acres, fewer corn acres than the market was looking for, within the range of expectations, but still a fairly big miss if you think about it from a big picture standpoint.
Now, corn exports, how is that looking right now? Are they still about the same track?
They have been. That's really been what's the new crop or the old crop contracts are looking at and really teeing off on, is the fact that exports are really good up to this point and ahead of pace from a marketing year standpoint, which really fed into the news that we got on the day.
All right, the estimated larger soybean acreage, surprise, no doubt?
Surprise, but I think we kind of saw that developing at the time that the survey was taken for this report. We knew that corn prices were, a little bit under the weather, and soybean prices were holding their own for the most part. But we did see a much larger number than was expected, roughly a little under 500,000 acres more than what the market was looking for, but the biggest crop, if we see this come to fruition, the biggest number of acres on record. So all of this is playing into already a tight supply situation for the soybeans. They remain there, so hopefully we'll loosen up some of those supplies moving forward.
And did I understand there's a little concern right now over Chinese business perhaps for American soybeans?
We rely heavily on China for exports, given the number of the livestock that they're feeding mostly with our soybeans. So anytime that there's some ripples there, it definitely will have impacts.
And let's go back to the peanut industry right now. That was a surprise as far as Mississippi and nationally. What kind of impact will that have on price picture?
Well, if we see it happen, probably going to push pressure on prices, but a 30% increase nationally and here in the state. So definitely one that we weren't really expecting from that big of an increase.
And speaking of peanuts, this week the National Peanut Board rolled out its new promotional campaign using a peanut farmer from Virginia and one from Georgia. The ads highlight the high protein content and other nutritional benefits of peanuts. The board says the promotion will be featured in such publications as Men's Health, Family Circle, and Cooking Light starting this month. The goal is to raise consumer awareness of the relationship between peanuts, peanut butter, and good nutrition. We move from peanuts to cotton for our trivia quiz of this week, and here's the quiz question. What is the #1 pest of cotton this year in the United States? Is the answer the Lagos bug or stink bugs? Could it be thrips, or is the answer the cotton flea hopper? I'll tell you at the end of the markets. Besides that prospective plantings report, the last few days of March also featured the release of the quarterly Hogs and Pigs report by the USDA. Those numbers were a little larger than the trade expected and considered a little bearish for the hog market. Prices this week have, in general, reflected that. Lean hogs were trading sharply lower Thursday morning. Here's analyst Alan Brugler.
We had on the breeding side 100.2% of a year ago for sows, so not real evidence of anybody having to close too many houses to handle the PED virus. On the other hand, we were expecting to have by now 2 or 3% expansion. That isn't happening yet because of the issues. But the main story is in the lighter weight categories, the under 50-pound pigs, the 50 to 120-pound pigs. We were only down 3 to 4% versus year ago. Be under a year ago technically. The futures have been trading a 7 to 9% shortfall in hogs. So this basically says there was less loss from PED than what the trade had been anticipating.
Analysts for the cattle sector, meanwhile, are hopeful that the arrival of spring will benefit beef sales in two ways. People, especially in the snow belt, will be likely to eat out more with warmer weather, and in general, grilling season will get underway in full swing nationwide. However, analyst Sue Martin cautions that although consumers may be buying more beef, they will be cost conscious and pinching pennies if they can.
They're going to be going out to eat. They're going to buy that hamburger. They're just going to maybe make the hamburgers a little bit smaller. And they'll buy the roast and they'll stretch it. But the consumer, you know, if you look at our consumers, we have a large older population. They don't eat as much as they used to. So, and they will try to conserve their dollar, but they don't eat as much. It's the younger generation that's kind of spoiled and likes what they're used to having what they want. They'll find a way to have it, and don't we all want something we can't have?
Before our feature story, let's check out the trivia answer for this week, and the correct choice is A. According to cotton insect loss estimates presented at the Beltwide Conference in New Orleans, the Lagos bug is the #1 pest of cotton, followed by stink bugs.